In a small village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, where the sun painted golden streaks across the fields each morning, lived a woman named Eliza. She was 32, with soft brown eyes and a smile that carried both warmth and a hint of sorrow. Eliza was a second wife, a role that came with whispers and raised eyebrows in the close-knit village of Willowbrook. But her story, though quiet at first, would become one of courage, love, and unshakable strength. Eliza had grown up in Willowbrook, the daughter of a baker who filled their small home with the scent of fresh bread. As a girl, she dreamed of a simple life, love, a family, and a place to call her own. At 20, she married Thomas, a kind carpenter with a laugh that echoed like a song. They were happy for a time, but illness took Thomas far too soon, leaving Eliza a widow at 25. Her heart, once full of dreams, felt heavy with grief. 4 years. Eliza lived quietly, tending to her garden and helping her father at the bakery. She thought love might never find her again. The village, though kind, often reminded her of her loss with pitying glances. Poor Eliza, they'd say, so young to be alone. She smiled through it, but inside she longed for a new chapter, a chance to feel alive again. One spring, when the flowers bloomed and the air carried the scent of possibility, Eliza met Samuel. He was a widower, a farmer with 2 young children, Anna and Ben, whose mother had passed 3 years before. Samuel was gentle, with hands rough from work and a heart still mending. He came to the bakery one morning, his children trailing behind, their faces smudged with dope but bright with curiosity. "Morning, Eliza," Samuel said, his voice steady but shy. "The children say your bread is the best in the village." Eliza laughed, brushing flour from her apron. "They are sweet to say so. Would they like a warm roll?" Anna, the older child, nodded eagerly, while Ben hid behind his father's leg. Eliza knelt, offering them each a roll, her kindness easing their shyness. That was the start of it, a small moment that grew into something more. Samuel began visiting the bakery more often, sometimes with the children, sometimes alone. He'd talk about his farm, the weather, or the children's antics, and Eliza found herself looking forward to his visits. Months passed, and their friendship deepened. Samuel admired Eliza's quiet strength, the way she found joy in small things despite her past. Eliza saw in Samuel a man who loved deeply, even through his own pain. One evening, as the sun set over the fields, Samuel asked Eliza to walk with him. Under an old oak tree, he took her hand. "Eliza," he said, his voice soft but sure, "I know life hasn't been easy for either of us, but I think we could make something good together. Would you be my wife?" Eliza's heart raced. She wanted to say yes, but fear crept in. She'd be a second wife, stepping into a home where another woman's memory lingered. Could she be enough for Samuel? For his children? Could she find a place in a family already formed? But when she looked into Samuel's eyes, she saw hope, not judgment. She saw a man who wanted her, not as a replacement, but as a partner. "Yes," she whispered, and in that moment, she chose to trust in a new beginning. The village buzzed when they married. Some welcomed the union, seeing the love between them. Others whispered, how can she compare to Mary, his first wife? Mary had been beloved, a skilled weaver whose laughter filled the village square. Eliza heard the comparisons, the murmurs that she could never measure up. At first, they stung. She wondered if she'd made a mistake, if she'd always live in a shadow. The early days were not easy. Anna, who was 8, was polite but distant, clinging to memories of her mother. Ben, only 5, was curious or confused, sometimes calling Eliza Mama by mistake, then crying when he realized his error. The farmhouse, though warm, felt like someone else's home. Mary's old shawl hung by the door. Her favorite teapot sat on the shelf. Eliza didn't resent these things. She understood the love they represented, but she wondered where she fit. One night, as Eliza tucked Anna into bed, the girl looked up with serious eyes. "Are you trying to be my mama?" she asked. Eliza paused, choosing her words carefully. "No, Anna, I could never replace your mama. She was special, and she loved you so much. I'm here to love you too, in my own way, if you'll let me." Anna didn't reply, but she didn't turn away either. It was a small step, but Eliza held on to it. Eliza decided then that she wouldn't try to erase the past or compete with it. Instead, she'd carve her own path. She began by making the farmhouse her own in small ways. She planted lavender by the door, its scent greeting them each morning. She baked bread for the family, filling the house with warmth. She listened to Samuel's stories about his day, laughing at his jokes, and shared her own dreams, like her wish to grow a garden full of colors. With the children, Eliza was patient. She didn't push, but she was there, helping Anna with her sewing, reading stories to Ben, teaching them both how to knead dough. Slowly, they warmed to her. Ben began running to her with his small discoveries, a shiny stone, a feather from a barn. Anna started asking Eliza to braid her hair, shyly at first, then with a smile. The village, however, was slower to change. At the market, Eliza overheard two women talking. "She's kind enough," one said, "but Mary was a heart of that family. Eliza's just different." The words cut, but Eliza straightened her shoulders. She wasn't Mary, and she didn't need to be. She was Eliza, and she had her own light to share. One autumn day, the village faced a crisis. A storm had damaged the mill, and without it, there'd be no flour for bread. The villagers gathered, worried about the winter ahead. Samuel, who knew the mill's workings from helping its owner, suggested a plan to repair it, but the village needed funds and hands to make it happen. Eliza saw the fear in people's faces and felt a spark within her. She stood up at the village meeting, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We can fix this together," she said. "I'll bake extra bread and sell it to raise money. If we all work as one, we can have the mill running before winter." Some villagers hesitated, unsure of this second wife taking charge. But Samuel nodded, his eyes proud, and others followed. Eliza worked tirelessly, baking day and night, her hands dusted with flour. Anna and Ben helped, carrying baskets to the market. The village rallied. Men repaired the mill, women cooked meals for the workers, and children ran errands. Eliza's bread sold out daily, her kindness winning over even the skeptics. By winter, the mill turned again, and the village celebrated. At the feast, the miller raised a glass to Eliza. "To Eliza," he said, "who showed us what a village can do when we stand together." The crowd cheered, and for the first time, Eliza felt truly seen, not as a second wife, but as a woman who'd made a difference. That night, as snow fell outside, Anna slipped her hand into Eliza's. "I'm glad you're here," she whispered. Ben climbed into her lap, calling her Mama without tears. Samuel pulled her close, his voice low. "You've made this house a home again, Eliza. Thank you." Tears filled Eliza's eyes, not of sorrow, but of joy. She realized she hadn't just found a place in Samuel's family. She built one with her own hands, her own heart. The whispers of the village faded, replaced by respect and warmth. Eliza knew there would always be challenges, moments of doubt, but she was no longer afraid. She was a second wife, yes, but she was also a mother, a partner, a leader. She was Eliza, and that was enough. Years later, when Anna married and Ben grew tall, they spoke of Eliza not as a shadow of the past, but as a woman who'd given them a future. The village, too, remembered her, not as Samuel's second wife, but as a woman whose courage and love had lit up Willowbrook. And so, Eliza's story became a quiet legend, a reminder that second chances, though hard one, can shine as brightly as the first. Her life taught those around her that love doesn't replace. It grows, weaving new threads into the tapestry of a family, a village, a heart.